welcome to another episode of Bruins Breakdown. It was a bit of an up and down week in Bruins Nation. We'll obviously spend plenty of time talking to that and breaking it down because we are, after all, Bruins Breakdown. But first and foremost, we have a special guest tonight, our friend of the show, Nate Gondelman, who is a avid Penguins fan and follower. He's going to fill us in a little bit on stuff going on there, as well as, of course, getting to know him and his fandom a little bit. But first and foremost, I was reflecting this week, Ryan and Nate, before we get to all that it was about a year ago that the NHL had its shutdown, and generally speaking, the nation shut down. And I just thought I'd start with a little question for you because I was thinking about it a little bit this week, and we'll start with Nate, our guest. What has hockey meant to you over this past year of uncertainty? Obviously, a lot of things have come into focus from life, but specifically hockey. What is that sort of been for you over these past 12 months?
Well, yeah, it's tough to believe it's been a year. I think that it all escalated so quickly because I remember within a week there was, talk about having games with no fans. And then I don't even think that we got to one NHL game in March last year, if memory serves, without fans. It's just, the whole NBA, once the NBA shut down, then the NHL quickly followed suit. And at the time, I don't think, it was 5 months before it came back in August in the bubble. And I think that really the strangest part of it was springtime. There was something about kind of like April and May, just like being outside almost. And like it smells like NHL playoffs. I don't know any better way to describe it than that. And so that definitely, I missed that. And it's great. And it was great to have hockey come back and to be able to watch the on-ice product in the late summer, early fall. But even just, not being able to have the fans there, you realize that the game itself is something that you miss, but you also kind of just miss the entire energy of, a playoff crowd and kind of the way that a team can, build off of a crowd, probably, in my opinion, more than any other sport in terms of just momentum, especially throughout a playoff series. And so, now a year later, we have fans trickling back in, and not on a totally normal schedule, but at least kind of like in the ballpark. Playoffs will obviously stretch further into the summer, but you just realized, I don't think any of us ever conceived of a world where hockey wouldn't exist. And that happened to us and it's taken away, and it just kind of makes you realize that it's something that can easily be taken for granted, but not something that you want to take for granted. And hopefully it's something that we don't have to live through again.
Amen. What about for you, Ryan?
Yeah. Well, one, I will just mention that we should have conceived of at least of a world where NHL hockey wouldn't exist because it's happened before, but couldn't exist was the real difference this time around. Yeah, it's wild that it's been a year. Like, I'm coming up on so many deadlines of like, I've been working remotely for a year, like this week, and so many things in life that you wouldn't have expected that you could have done this, and that applies to the hockey world as well. So a lot of it was just kind of like Nate said, getting used to like it's spring right now. Where's the playoff hockey, and then it just being kind of weird over the summer when there was hockey. And just kind of like the sensory things that you associate with stuff going on at the same time is shifted. And I think when things get back to some semblance of normal, we're going to start to appreciate a lot of the things that we maybe took for granted, of just like the authentic sound of a packed house and like the atmosphere of that within hockey. And for me, it's been a good thing. I mean, I obsessively follow hockey in a normal year as well. But I think this just gave me an added escape from the nothingness that was going on around me. And it gave me an opportunity to get to deep dive further into like certain types of stories that I normally wouldn't like take the time to look into outside of just like transactional stuff and statistical stuff. I started listening to a whole bunch of podcasts that I didn't really do before. And now we have this podcast, which is something that came out of this time as well. So a a lot has changed, obviously, and obviously not a lot of it was for the best, but hopefully there's some good that we can take away from it, just in how we go about following the sport going forward.
Yeah, I'm not sure we've told the story about how we started the podcast. Maybe we did in episode 1. That feels like forever ago now, even though it's, I guess, not that long ago. But in Vermont here, where the three of us live, we were actually able to get back on the ice over the summer for pickup hockey. And I remember Ryan and I were in warm-ups, and Ryan, we should start a hockey blog with the bubble coming back, because other than that pickup skate, we were both pretty bored out of our minds, we were thankful we could do some little like backyard fires and stuff, but that was about it. And it was like, let's do something. And we started a little blog, and we came up with Bruins Breakdown, and very quickly we got connected with Mark and company over at Black and Gold Hockey and started doing some stuff there. I started doing some writing, and then they said, we're starting a podcast network. And I said, Ryan, we've joked about doing this forever. Never really had partially the motivation, the access, or who wants to hear us talk about stuff. And here was someone saying, hey, here's the access. I want you to do it. And we want to hear you talk about the stuff you normally talk about. And here we are doing it on episode number 24. So kind of weird to have that happen in the middle of a pandemic. And I hope it's something we can continue after this is all subsided. But for me, actually, the big thing was this winter. And so that was all happening and great for us here in Vermont in the summer. But right around Thanksgiving, things sort of fell apart for us here a little bit, and things started getting shut down again. And actually getting on the ice was impossible until the outdoor ice froze again. And then until the new year, when rinks kind of sort of opened back up, although adult hockey is still not yet opened back up. And so then having the NHL to look forward to and training camps to talk about, and who's going to make the team, and who are going to be the last minute signings, and then actual games to watch has been really meaningful. So normally I actually don't watch that many regular season games, and it's been a treat to really do that this year and escape and get into it and dig deeper. And so I'm very grateful for the NHL for that, because this winter was probably the toughest part of the pandemic for me personally, just kind of getting fatigued and all that. So very thankful to have hockey as an outlet.